say in this moment, it is not just one frame, it's a continuous change. You can never hold on to one moment. When somebody says be in the now is not just one frame, it's already gone, right? We just don't get entangled by mixing up our psychological plane and the phenomenal experience, the sensory experience. So there is no overlap of these two planes. When I say plane, I mean qualitatively it's different. Sensory experiences are more gross, whereas the thoughts, the psychological plane, the imagination, the memory are very close to us, extremely close to us, and it can create its own mist or a fog. And another way to think about this is it's a lens, not just a transparent lens which can focus our vision, but a tinted lens, a tint of colors depending on your conditioning and beliefs, which is basically the identity which you have taken it to be true. I just want to spontaneously talk about how we can awaken to who we are, and is it possible to experience the world around us by clearly and intimately seeing every moment as it is. There is no particular agenda, but for the ones who are open to knowing yourself not based on your story. You already have some expectations of what your future is supposed to look like. Now, if you can keep that aside and try to know yourself without this expectation of the future, how events will turn out, so you don't expect anything specifically how the outcome is supposed to look like. The planning can be done. So you keep that aside, and is it possible that you know yourself not based on these memories, rather than simply by observing every movement, every experience in the world as it is? You all you need to have at this moment, if you are with me, if you want to see the truth, the absolute truth. I'm not going to play this down, this is the highest truth. I am not trying to push a belief system like anybody else. I'm not trying to gain followers at this point. All I want to do is create these sound forms from the space of pure knowing and guide anyone who is willing to simply look. And look what? Look who is here. What is this moment? So anybody who is willing to see this lifetime, this birth where you can make use of your body and the simple awareness to wake up and see this is just one consciousness. Consciousness is, in this context, I'm referring to the manifest. Manifest is that things which are in play, that grows objects, the solid objects, the lights, the physical light at this point. All of this are emanating from this infinite potential which simply creates this universe to experience, to see the possibilities that lies dormant within itself. Purnamadha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnam Eva Vishishyate. It is full, the infinity is full. From that infinity, the manifest world is created. So this does not mean by this creation there is something which goes down in that infinity. It is always full, the potential never goes away. Now this is not for the mind to understand, as in you cannot imagine logically how is it even possible. Infinity, how the hell can we imagine the infinity? Don't even try. Infinity is just the inability of a human to phrase something which can be intuited. Of course, you can sense this presence, which is everything in this moment, not just this body. It's everything, is that. It's an intuition. There is no word that can describe it. But yes, there are few words which come close. Silence. Silence is another term. Now, this silence is not talking. It's not about settling down the chattering mind. That is not the silence I'm referring to. When you see this silence, when you start being in this silence, it is everything. It is the awareness, a simple knowing of not just a static thing away somewhere. It is the dynamic movement. It is the vibration of that awareness itself in this moment. It's this space which comes as this world. If you have the ability to sit silently, when I say silently, that is your attention is going to an experience and you're experiencing that phenomenon as it is without the interference of your psychological plane. Thoughts are allowed, but you are not mixing it up. You respect the phenomenon which is created for what it is, and you also respect the thoughts which are an attempt by the localization of that infinity to express in a particular language. Now, English is the language in which I am creating the sound forms. Now, this is because I know most of you understand this sound form. You can make a meaning out of these sound forms. Henceforth, I'm using this language. If there is no language, if there is no verbal communication happening, there still remains an awareness of everything. Language is optional. Of course, when we find something interesting about the manifest aspect, or even the unmanifest, which is the spiritual side, we write it down. We create symbols so that it can be transferred on to the generations to come. You need to have a reason to explore this dimension of your being. It is not a dimension somewhere else. The physical world is just an extension of this dimension, the dimension of pure knowing of everything. First, you start with the foundation, the fundamental pure awareness in which the sounds are coming, in which the body is there, in which you are hearing my voice right now. It is the foundation of every experience, and that comes first. Now you gain an ability to be in this space without losing your attention to a phenomenon, experience, which is entangled with the thought. It is even more dangerous. For example, if you are involved in watching a movie, let's say, where you are not even thinking, you are completely absorbed by the phenomenon, it is still fine. At least your attention is completely invested in a emergent phenomenon where your mind is completely engrossed in that. Now, it can also happen that you are watching the movie and you are thinking something about your own story. This is the entanglement of the psychological plane and the physical plane. This is not good, because you are not being efficient in how you experience this world. The quality of how you could have experienced watching a movie has gone down because your attention was divided between the thoughts and what is coming on the screen. Now, this is an example. Screen, take it out. Now, if you turn around and if you look at the world, there is whole 3D space, a three-dimensional space in which everything is there. Now, if you can invest your attention consciously on one particular phenomenon, the quality is amazing. Quality goes up significantly. Significantly means it is a quantum jump in how you experience the world. This way, you are not bored. You are not bored, and you are not seeking that next activity. You are not lost in planning the next activity which can give you the happiness, which can grab your attention, so that you can avoid the chattering of your mind, which is a predominantly negative trait of an ego. Ego is the mistaken identity of who you are. Now, these talks will be extremely spontaneous, and this is for those minds which are trying to see the truth, the independent truth. And I will be repeating this, the words will be repeated. So, for those minds who seek this independent truth, I just share spontaneously from the pure knowing which I am aware of right now. I'm just trying to align the language as accurately as possible to describe and guide you in recognizing this pure awareness in which everything is there. How you can clearly differentiate between the psychological plane and the physical world. And this solidly has to do with what or who you identify yourself with. I am not trying to tell you to forget your story or keep, detach yourself from the relationships and the responsibilities. No, everyone has their own responsibility. I made my own choices with limited responsibility for this world, but I have taken up a responsibility to ensure that I stay true to consciousness and what is here right now. And I want you to see that as well. And it does not require you to abandon your family, work, or any of those three-dimensional responsibilities. You can continue to stay responsible with those and recognize who you truly are, to be this body, to be this mind, that is the psychological plane, which tries to make sense of your own story and the story of the world. And before these two, before the body and mind, there is the source of this body mind, the pure, simple knowing. It is extremely easy, the easiest in fact. You don't have to make use of too much of your intellect probably in order to understand how satellites orbit the earth. You need more brain. This needs the brain power of breathing. That is all is needed. It's as easy as taking a breath. All you have to do is simply settle down, observe, and there it is. The highest truth available for a human is right here, right now, and that is the peace, happiness, freedom. You don't have to be laughing all the time. That is not true. Peace is not laughter. Just clarifying it. Peace is being okay with your own story, being with the experiences you can know in every moment, and not narrating all the time about the experience. You can conserve a lot of energy, and you can make use of that energy to generate this bliss within the body mind field. Thank you.